Hello and welcome along to The Deep Dive. I'm your host, and today, well, we're going to be looking into that whole world that kind of kicks into gear when most of us are maybe thinking about winding down. We're talking about the nighttime economy.
Mm.
And it's so much more than just, bars closing or loud music. Think about the whole 24-hour city pulse, right? Logistics humming away, culture coming alive after dark. And to help us unpack all of this, I'm really pleased to have Dr. Michael Reeve with us, who's a specialist in urban economics. Great to have you here.
Thanks. Yeah, it's great to be here. It's always a fascinating area, isn't it? What really shapes our cities once the sun goes down.
Absolutely. Okay, so let's dive right in. For people listening, when we say nighttime economy,
Yeah,
what exactly are we talking about? What does that cover?
right. So at its heart, it's basically all the economic activity that happens between, say, 6 p.m. and 6 a.m.
Okay, 6 till 6.
Yeah. And, well, the obvious things spring to mind, don't they? Hospitality. So your pubs, clubs, restaurants.
Yeah.
But it really does stretch much further than that. You got to think about those vital 204/7 operations, like healthcare, transport networks, keeping everything moving, emergency services, of course. Then there's the stuff you maybe don't see as much, logistics, warehouses, deliveries, plus the cultural side theaters, late opening galleries, and increasingly the digital world, and the gig economy. Like food delivery riders, people working remotely across time zones. It all adds up.
Wow. Okay, so it really is a much, much broader picture than just sort of traditional nightlife. It's almost like a parallel economy running alongside the daytime one.
Precisely. Yeah, that's a good way to put it. And what's been really interesting, especially recently, is how things like, well, the pandemic have sort of highlighted and even reshaped what we mean by it. You saw this huge jump in online orders being picked and packed at all hours, right?
Yeah.
And the whole remote work thing means people are economically active across different time zones now, blurring those old lines. It's becoming more continuous.
That makes sense. So thinking about maybe the last 10 years or so, what would you say are the biggest kind of transformations you've seen in this nighttime space?
Well, I think, the biggest thing really has to be digitization. It's touched almost everything.
How so?
Well, think about food delivery apps. They've completely changed how we get food and drink at night, haven't they? Streaming services mean we might stay in more, which impacts, cinemas, maybe even pubs sometimes. And like we just said, remote work shifts patterns. Then you've also got this whole thing with gentrification and zoning laws in cities.
Oh, right.
That's put a lot of pressure on traditional nightlife spots. You see smaller venues closing, live music scenes facing real challenges. It's complex.
Yeah, you do get that sense, don't you, that maybe some of those more independent grassroots places are finding it tougher.
Exactly. And then, well, the pandemic just threw a huge spanner in the works, didn't it?
Yeah.
It was obviously devastating for hospitality during lockdowns. But at the same time, it massively accelerated things like online entertainment, and suddenly everyone needed those 24-hour logistics and delivery services. So swings and roundabouts in a way,
Yeah.
but very disruptive.
And what about the people involved? Are we seeing shifts in who's working at night or who's going out and consuming these services, demographics-wise?
Definitely. Yeah, there are some interesting trends. We're seeing signs that younger people perhaps are drinking a bit less alcohol overall, maybe going out later or sometimes choosing to stay in with friends instead. But interestingly, older demographics seem to be participating more in certain nighttime things,
Oh, really? Like what?
like going to the theater at night, using gyms that open late, and you're even seeing like club nights specifically for the over 40s popping up.
Oh,
So yeah, it suggests the market is actually broadening out, becoming more diverse, which is quite fascinating.
okay, let's switch gears a bit and talk about the economic clout of all this. Can you give us a sense of just how significant it is financially?
Oh, absolutely. It's huge. Before COVID hit, estimates for the UK alone were putting its value at over $100 billion a year.
Wow, 100 billion.
Yeah. And supporting something like nearly 1.3 million jobs. And if you look at big global cities, London, New York, Tokyo, the income just from nighttime activity is in the billions. But, it's really important to remember it's not just about the GDP figures. It's fundamental to a city's vibrancy, its buzz. It provides really important jobs, especially for students, maybe new migrants. And it's often where new cultural trends start, music, fashion.
That's a great point. It's about the lifeblood of the city, too. So what about the social side, then? How does all this after-dark activity shape society?
Well, socially,
Mm.
It's a bit of a mixed bag, to be honest. On the one hand, nightlife can be a fantastic way to bring people together, different groups mixing, creating a sense of shared identity for a place. It's often key to a city's whole vibe, its culture.
Mm-hmm.
But on the other hand, we absolutely have to acknowledge it can be exclusionary, and safety is a big concern for many people at night, isn't it?
Definitely.
Yeah. Things like your gender, your race, whether you have a disability, your income level, all these things can really shape how safe or welcome you feel participating in the nighttime economy.
Safety is such a critical issue. What can actually be done? What are cities or communities doing to try and make nighttime environments feel safer and more welcoming for everyone?
It needs a joined up approach, really. Good lighting is basic but crucial. Safe, reliable public transport that runs late enough. Having a visible but approachable security presence. These are all fundamental building blocks. But some places are getting quite strategic about it now. You see cities like um, Amsterdam, Melbourne, appointing night mayors or nighttime advisors.
Nightmares. What do they do?
Well, their job is basically to be a link between, say, residents complaining about noise, businesses wanting longer hours, and the council trying to manage it all. They look at the whole nighttime ecosystem, safety, transport, licensing, culture, trying to make it work better for everyone. It's quite an innovative idea.
That sounds really positive. Okay, looking forward then. Crystal ball time. What do you think are the key trends that are going to shape the nighttime economy, say, over the next decade?
Um, well, I think we'll see more of this blurring of lines, more hybrid spaces.
Hybrid
Yeah,
spaces.
like, your neighborhood cafe that turns into a cool little jazz bar in the evening. Or maybe libraries or museums hosting late night events, poetry readings, that kind of thing, using spaces more flexibly. We'll probably also see more automation coming into those background functions, logistics, maybe cleaning services.
Oh,
And sustainability is going to be huge.
right. How so?
Thinking about energy use, efficient lighting is a big one, managing noise pollution better.
Eh.
And also, importantly, more focus on public health aspects, like reducing alcohol-related harm through smarter policies.
And what about AI? Everyone's talking about AI. Do you see a role for it in the nighttime future?
Oh, absolutely. It's already creeping in.
Yeah.
AI helping businesses predict busy times to schedule staff better. Using AI for smarter security systems like analyzing crowd flow, but maybe more creatively too. You could have AI generating music playlists or even interactive entertainment experiences. People are even talking about AI DJs.
AI DJs. Wow.
Yeah. So, there's a mix of excitement about the possibilities, but also maybe some apprehension too, naturally.
It certainly sounds like the night is. Well, it's not standing still, is it? Lots of change on the horizon.
Not at all. It's constantly
Wow.
evolving. Lots of potential, but definitely things we need to manage carefully as well.
Well, this has been absolutely fascinating, a real eye-opener into a world many of us maybe take for granted. Thank you so much for sharing all your insights with us today.
Oh, my pleasure. It's
Yeah.
always good to talk about this stuff. And thanks for having me on. It's been great.
So, as we've heard, the nighttime economy isn't just one thing. It's this incredibly complex, vital, and constantly changing part of our cities and towns. It impacts our economy, our social lives, our culture. Maybe next time you're out late, or even just ordering a takeaway, think about all the different parts that make that night possible. The delivery riders, the bar staff, the musicians, the healthcare workers, the logistics teams. And let's think about how we can all contribute to making our nighttime spaces feel vibrant, yes, but also safe and genuinely inclusive for everyone. Thank you so much for joining us for this deep dive. Until next time, take care. And thank you for watching Westferry Times.